The Many Oranges of Scootaloo, Chapter 18, by Defender 22. Rarity. I just don't understand how you managed to get yourself so sticky. Twilight was seated in Rarity's boutique. The fashionista darted about as she did all she could to repair Twilight's utterly ruined mane. The lavender unicorn had shown up on Rarity's doorstep, with the front locks of her mane sticking straight up and curling back as a result of her failed attempt to undo the damage. Rarity had taken one look, screamed nearly as loud as she had when she discovered the terrible secret of the Rainbow Factory. They force ponies to wear helmets! They yanked the two inside, demanding to be allowed to fix the disaster. Twilight looked over at Spike. Her eyes narrowed as Rarity fussed over her mane. It might have something to do with a certain formerly #1 assistant throwing his bowl of ice cream on top of my head. Spiky wacky! How could you? Rarity whined as she tilted Twilight's hair back and began to wash it in the sink. Normally, she would have suggested going to the spa, but there was simply no way Rarity would allow Twilight out of her home looking as she did. The baby dragon shot a glare of his own back at Twilight. It wasn't my fault! Snips and Snails rushed at me with a stick! It was a stick, Spike, and that's no excuse for attempting to lick me clean! Rarity shuddered. Ugh. Really, Spike, I cannot support clapping like that. She placed a hoof upon her chest and raised her head nobly. It's just wrong, horrible, and wrong. It has no place anywhere, and you should be ashamed of yourself. It's just so vile. Now you're starting to sound like Big Macintosh, Twilight muttered as her friend poured shampoo into her mane and used her magic to get a good lather going. I am? Rarity asked in horror. Well, the Big Macintosh from Mrs. Cake's story, Twilight amended. Rarity blinked. I'm afraid you have me at a loss, Twilight. What story? Twilight lowered her head. She had come to recognize the signs of impending doom after 3 days of suffering through it, and while she accepted that there was simply no way to avoid the nightmare that was about to be dragged upon her, that didn't mean she had to deal with all of it. Taking a page out of Case's playbook, Twilight decided to skip the foreplay and move right to the orgy. Can I just speed things along? I've had this conversation at least 13 times already, so I know all the key points. Before Rarity could answer, Twilight leapt up, soap bubbles still clinging to her mane. Spike, you be me, I'll be Rarity. Okay, let's see. Well, Rarity, Scootaloo's story, Spike said, trying to put as much annoyance as he could in his voice. Spike, that was the worst Twilight imitation I've ever heard. You sounded nothing like me. Sure, Twilight. To Rarity's shock, Twilight turned around and, with skill that could have made her a grand addition to Trixie's traveling show, nearly perfectly mimicked the unicorn's voice, which was difficult. One had to do a New Jersey accent that was buried under a Manhattan accent. Why, Twilight, my dear, what do you mean, Scootaloo's story? Do you mean Scootaloo? That rough little filly that is always fondling Rainbow Dash around, Twilight uttered. She will look so beautiful if she simply let herself. Spike screwed up his eyes, doing his best to mimic Twilight's losing face. Rarity, I don't want to talk about Scootaloo's fashion sense. I don't even want to talk about Scootaloo, but apparently I don't have a choice. He got down on all fours and began to pace about, letting out grunts of displeasure. All I wanted to do was get some brownies to eat, even though I do that strange thing when I eat them, but every pony I've run into wants to tell me about Scootaloo. Now, I know you are in love with Spike, who is the greatest dragon ever, and I should really give him a raise. Twilight interrupted him, not breaking the character. Why, Twilight, darling, I simply don't understand why you didn't come to me in the first place. I know all about Scootaloo, and you can help me out. It was a waste of time to chat to those silly ponies when you know that I, Rarity, know the truth about that little Pegasus filly. Also, I think you overpay Spike, and he should be glad what he gets. Please, Rarity, I don't want to hear any more stories, Spike says, Twilight. Don't make me call my mother the terrible Nightmare Moon and have her do mean things to you. Twilight nodded, dashing over to the real Rarity, who was staring at them, wondering if they had gotten to Pinky's special cake frosting. In her normal voice, she said, Now you play Spike. How about I be Rarity? The designer said nervously. But I'm Rarity, Twilight said softly. You're Twilight, she said, as he was addressing a full. You remember that, right? Twilight. Then who am I? Spike asked. The Prince of Tuntaland for all I care, Rarity said, before turning to address her friend. Nothing. What I've managed to glean from your ravings, you've been hearing stories about little Scootaloo, and now I believe I will tell you one. Are you? Twilight asked softly, as Rarity led her back toward the sink. Well, I do know a story, but I will only tell it if you want me to. Twilight considered Rarity's offer. It isn't crazy, is it? Divine crazy, Rarity said. After Twilight's little display moments ago, Rarity wanted confirmation that just what her friend considered irrational. Are you going to use the story to pitch your book? Or claim that Scootaloo's an alien fire? Or Princess Celestia in disguise? I see you've been talking to Applejack, Rarity muttered, turning on the table and pouring hot soapy water along Twilight's mane, massaging her friend's scalp as he did so. Do not worry, my dear. My tale is none of the above. I say, Evergreen, what do you know about this young filly that is coming to live with us? Suit said as he took a sip of his tea. The large Pegasus was decked out in a fine three-piece suit, his tiny wings made to look all the smaller by his great bulk. He had always been a large Pegasus, which is why he chose to make his living as a lawyer instead of working up in the clouds. Clouds might be firm for Pegasi, but one could still fall through them if they weighed too much. And Sybil wasn't about to give up his fried butter with bacon sandwiches. Luckily for him, his mind was just as big as his gut, and Sybil's suit became quite rich, helping protect innocent ponies in Ponyville from greedy corporations. His mansion, just on the outskirts of Ponyville, brought all the class and dignity of Manhattan and Camelot to the small town that had grown on him. He just found it so amusingly rustic. Not that he would ever tell them to his face. Evergreen, Sybil Suit's wife, smiled as he trotted over to her husband. True to her name, her coat was all a brilliant emerald, and she never went out anywhere without her bow of pearls. The filly is my niece, Sybil. Her mother said that she was having some problems, and asked us to watch over her until things calm down. My dear sister is afraid that my niece might get hurt. Darling. Sybil placed the hoof over his wife and smiled. Well, if she is related to you, then I know she will have style and grace. Master Suit, Lady Evergreen, the family butler and resident smartass, Wisecrack called out, standing near the opulent front door. May I present Miss Scootaloo? Say what? Scootaloo said with a grin, bursting through the door and smashing a vase. Aw, hope that wasn't expensive, Jeeves. If this were a bad sitcom, the laugh track would have played. Wait a minute. Why does this sound very familiar? It was priceless, Silversuit ground out, staring at the orange filly with dyed purple hair. Scootaloo was wearing high-top horseshoes and a loud yellow, blue, red jacket that was about 2 sizes too big. Oh, good. Hope it wasn't worth nothing, Scootaloo said with a laugh, which would have again been timed to the laugh track. She took a seat next to her Uncle Sybil, kicking her feet up. So, what's the plan for today? We're going to swim in money, laugh at the poor? High tea and lessons in culture, Evergreen said simply. No, seriously. Wow. What's the matter, Twilight? Rarity asked, lifting her friend's head up so she could be working a comb through the tangled mane. I just wasn't expecting that. Expecting what? I don't know. When you started, I thought you were going to tell some highbrow story involving tea and crumpets. Crumpets, whatever. The point is, I wasn't expecting you to go all rags to riches world collide on me. Rarity scoffed. Huh! Well, I suppose that is a bit of a shock, since I am so well cultured and refined. But this is Scootaloo's story, so who am I to change it? Now, then, where was I?
So, Scootaloo, your mother wasn't very clear why you cared to come live with us,
Silversuit said, trying to resist the urge to grab the filly and toss her out of the house. So far, she had broken the vase, eaten half the cookies left out for tea, and muddled up the floor with her hooves. He could feel his blood pressure building just staring at her. Scootaloo ran her hoof along her nose, looking about her, wiping the gooey appendage from the armrest of the couch. Don't worry, Uncle Sybil, I'll clue you in. Scootaloo cleared her throat. Wait a minute. That line. Of course. I'm starting to realize what this is a parody now, Defender. I realize what you're making me read. You're making me read a ponyfied version of Full House, aren't you? Yeah, that joke wasn't going to work. Okay, you people want me to do it. So, I'll do it. Now this is the story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down. See, most toward one of the chairs. And if you have a minute, just sit right down. I'll spill it. I'll tell you how I became the princess of a town called Ponyville. Evergreen frowned. You aren't a princess.
And why are your sentences rhyming?
That's just how I roll, Jeeves. Now, Scootaloo cleared her throat before continuing. In West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground where I spend most of my days, chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool, and all soon as the beats fall outside the school. Rarity, why are you rapping? Scootaloo continued their story, which was clearly not a rap, but a narrative with lyrical undertones. When a couple of guys, they were all up to no good, started making trouble in my neighborhood. I got one little fight, and my mom had a fit and said, "You'll never with your auntie and uncle in Ponyville."
Well, that was interesting,
Sybil stated, while Scootaloo continued to beatbox.
Now, I'll warn you, Rarity, that I am a respected lawyer, and I expect you to behave like a cultured mayor and not some two-bit hood.
Rarity, does he mean Scootaloo? Of course, Twilight! That's what I said. You said your name. I assure you I did not.
Now then, Scootaloo,
Sybil said,
continuing his lecture, you are not in Philadelphia anymore. You are in Ponyville, and will behave like a proper unicorn. I will admit that it would be humorous to see you, a streetwise rough, interacting with my rich and proper family. Might even last a few seasons. Seasons, of course, referring to winter to spring to summer to fall. However, Rarity, Scootaloo isn't a unicorn. Rarity sniffed, and falling back into the chair since he had summoned from her living room. Oh, Twilight! You caught me! I thought I could fool you, but it's clear as could not! Oh, hi! Yeah. Author's note. This goes on for like another 6 minutes. So we're just going to skip ahead, okay? Hey, why don't you go read the newest chapter of Darthlake's Families? I'll wait.
Well, okay, I mean, can't argue with the author about that. Okay, let's see. I've got over 13,000 favorites here. Let's see, where did I put that on? Let's see, Project Ascension, doing that. Tears of Gaia, gotta get to that. Last of the Dragon Lords, no. Let's see, where did I put that? No. ABC's of Fallout Equestria, maybe. No. Fallout Equestria, oh, darling, no. Let's see, where did I put that? Let's see. Shadow of the Sun. No. Death of Princess Luna. Somebody else is doing that. Past Sins. Everybody and their mom's doing that. Here we go. Families. By Darthlake 22. Chapter 15. A Lullaby. Are you okay, Twilight? It had been the first time he had dared to speak. Ahem! What? Forgetting something? What? The author asked me to get back to the thick. Fine, but the author wanted me to read the latest chapter of Families, and I'm pretty positive that was the chapter that came out right around this time, and you know, I love reading that fic, and fine.
Back? Good. Now back to your crappy parody chapter.
Are you better now? Twilight asked, taking the now empty bottle of water she had given Rarity. Think you could tell us what has you so upset? Twilight, I don't know anything about Scootaloo. I just wanted to be part of the fun. I'm always left out, and I didn't want you thinking I was a stick in the mud. Rarity, I would never think that. Me neither, Spike said. You're the best. Thank you both. Twilight wrapped a hoof around Rarity's shoulder. But where did you come up with that crazy story? And why were you getting constantly confused and using your name? Well, that story is my secret origin. And with that, Rarity dropped her culture accent. I be a stone cold baller, yo. Twilight Spike stared in shock. I grew up on the mean streets, capping fools like it ain't no thing. Rarity's horn glowed, and Twilight could only gasp as the Fashionistas' entire appearance changed. Her body was now bright orange, like she had rolled in a pile of Cheetos, and her mane was fizzy and poofed up. Gaudy rings and jewelry floated over to her as she transformed herself into a true Nate-Joyzy girl. Now, that's how I let you know the truth, cuz I could be my real self. I'm so glad I don't need to pretend to be that stuck-up bitch, Holmes. Yo, Twilight, you all hit the club, maybe you'll get your drink on. I just got GTL, and I be set. Twilight slowly backed away in terror. It was like she was trapped in a horror novel where everyone had been replaced by pod ponies. Maybe Scootaloo is a pod. No, Twilight! Focus on saving yourself! That sounds super, Rarity, but I really need to go. I need to wash my mane tonight. She ran her hoe through her already washed mane. Rarity scoffed. That be trippin'. Hey, Spiky, you want to smooze? Let's smooze, Spike asked. Rarity leaned over and whispered in his ear, the dragon's eyes going wide. Oh, Celestia. No. That's not even physically possible. Why would you put that there? Spike scrambled at Twilight's bike. Transport us! Do it now! The lavender unicorn and the baby dragon popped out of Rarity's house. Oh, you were right. That was funny, Rarity said, her normal accent firmly in place. Her horn flashed and the camouflage spell faded, revealing all the changes that had been nearly an illusion. Told you! Pinky giggled. Bursting out of the cupboard she had been hiding in. I was supposed to say, I should really engage in these pranks more often. They fit my natural acting talent well. Rarity looked over at the jewelry she was wearing, placing it in the box to be returned to her mother later. Remind me to thank Cousin Final for sending us that camouflage spell so quickly, and for the tips on the slang. Now then, should we try this on Applejack next? Chapter 19. Discord. Oh no, not doing Discord. I'm out. Fine. Twilight stepped onto the empty stage, looking out at the audience that waited patiently for her to begin, and had only one thought. Unfortunately, due to the story's rating, we can't actually post what she thought, but it involved words that rhyme with duck. She had no idea how she ended up in the theater. The last thing she remembered was taking Spike home after Rarity's little prank. Pinky had ended up caving about 20 seconds after Twilight had ran off screaming into the night, admitting the entire scheme. Sending a letter to Princess Celestia. Dear Princess Celestia, today I learned every pony in Equestria has gone nuts. Did you put PCP in the water supply? Twilight. And heading straight to bed. Okay, that's 3 things, but still. And yet, here she was, standing on the stage, wearing all things, a green tutu and a beer helmet. The audience was, for the most part, entertained. They kept laughing every couple of minutes. Twilight leaned forward, squinting against the spotlight. Wait a minute. You're humans! What's going on? Well, I'll tell you, Twilight. A familiar voice purred in her ear. You are dreaming. This is Discord's chapter. The Chaos God grinned as he appeared on stage, wearing a fancy tux and a spinning bow tie. With tonight's special guest, my daughter, Twilight Sparkle! Yay! I am not your daughter! Twilight shouted, even as the rousing music began to play. She looked around in fright from the stage, and left a line of dancing mares made their way onto the stage, while a line of stallions from the opposite side joined them. The mares, Applejack, Pinkie Pie, Rarity, Fluttershy, Rainbow Dash, Mrs. Cake, Lyra, Cadence, Derpy. And meanwhile, the stallions, Dr. Who's, Big Megatos, Blue Blood, Flam, Caramel, Soren, Signing Armor, and RA Stallion, Spike. It's time to play the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to meet the ponies in Discord's chapter tonight. Dum, dum, dum.
It's time to put on makeup. It's time to dress up right. It's time to race the curtain on Discord's chapter tonight.
Twilight looked up, jaw dropping as she saw Dinky sitting with Lord Tidal in the balcony. The little filly waving heavier. Why are we in this chapter? It's getting rather sick. The author keeps inserting us randomly in this hick. Dum bum bum bum. And now let's get things started. Why don't you get things started? It's time to get things started on the most sensational, inspirational, celebrational Discord today. So this is what we call Discord chapter. I should mention, I'm a big fan of Muppets. Thank you, Defender. Thank you. Twilight blinked as Roly-Poly appeared beside her, raising a trumpet to his eye stalk, wet and blowing, only for Scootaloo to pop out of the bell and throw a pie at her. And just as soon as they had appeared, they were all gone, leaving Twilight alone on stage with Discord, who was holding a giant neon sign that read, "Applause." The Draconis wiggled his eyebrows as he leaned in close. Come on now. Doesn't my little princess want to give Daddykins a kissy poo? If by kissy poo you mean stomp on your head, then yes, I will happily accept your offer. Kids today, Discord said with a sigh, glancing at the audience. I'm not your kid! Nightmare was trapped, as were you! God of Chaos. You really think either of those things could stop me, baby girl? Twilight grit her teeth together. You're not real. You are a dream. You are not real. You are a dream! Discord patted her on the head, before summoning a lazy boy for him to sit down. Only half right. This is a dream, but I am quite real. You see, while I'm physically bound to that statue, it doesn't mean that I can't find ways to have fun. I managed to figure that out, a way to evade your dreams, so I can spend time with my little girl. That's my bit! Freddy Krueger shouted from stage left. Discord snapped his fingers and sent the movie's monsters straight to hell. Or Wisconsin. Either way, it was bad. Now then, I have been watching you and the whole Scootaloo thing, and I just had to ask, would life really have been worse under my rule than this? Probably, Twilight muttered. You do realize I was grooming you to be my second in command, right? Was going to get your mother back and give you your chaos powers that Celestia stole from you. I am not your daughter! I think the lady protests too much. Discord said with a smirk, rubbed his hands together, clearly warming up to the chaos he was about to bring. Now then, I have seen how the others have been driving you absolutely insane, and I decided I wanted to get in on the fun. The quicker you go nuts, the quicker we can become a family again. Twilight blinked, then began to laugh. No, not laugh. She fell full to the ground, rolling about, giggling and chortling. While I would normally enjoy seeing you lapse into insanity. There's nothing you can do, Discord, Twilight giggled. I've heard the craziest stories. There is not a single way you could tell a story that would drive me nuts. Is that so? Discord said, turning toward the audience. Hey, creepy 20-something males who are reading fanfics based on a show written for children. Uncle Discord, your favorite Lord of Chaos, is here with a special treat. Do you want to help drive Twilight nuts? Of course you do. Well, fill in the blanks in the story below below in the description. And watch that unicorn go insane. To show you how easy it is, I've asked my best friends, Deadpool and my father, Defender22, to do one. Ready, guys? Ready! Scootaloo was a strange filly who lived in the town of Platypusville. She liked to spend her time with her annoying friends, Passive Fruit Bloom and Sweetie Belle. Together, the three of them were known as the Cutie Mark Lieutenants. But what Ponies didn't know was that the pathetic Pegasus filly wasn't really a pony, but a refrigerator with side door loose marker and festival crisper. Long ago, a heroic wizard named B. Arthur used all of his aquamarine magic to create Scootaloo. The wizard wanted to use Scootaloo to help him take over East St. Louis, but Scootaloo refused. Scootaloo didn't want to hurt a single innocent feral gorilla. All she wanted to do was play frisbee golf. She knew she had to escape before Arbor Day, but that was when the wizard planned to begin his venomous plan. Luckily, Scootaloo had allies in the brothel. There was a weak mutant that was half tiger shark and half sex swing, named that guy for the beer commercial, who also wanted to escape the wizard's wet nurse. Together, they came up with a insane plan. While the wizard was playing Donkey Kong, Lulu and her friend used a walk to lock out the door. They ran into the Batcave where they found a assault rifle. With this, they could escape. Making their way through the field of bowling knives, the two of them finally made it to Equestria, which was ruled by the Comet Duchess Celestia. They parted ways. The filly decided to live her life in peace and chimichanga. Twilight frowned as she stared at the rider and the new figure had popped up. Okay, so you got a strange man from Samus and the insane writer to help you tell an origin story. So what? Discard grinned. You don't get it, don't you? I'm going to let every member of the audience tell you a Scootaloo origin, and there is nothing you can do to stop them. What? Oh, okay, guys, girls, I need a little help on this. Everybody from the Lunaverse, go get together. Everybody, come on, Corona, you too. Okay, let's do this. Bad lip, Lunaverse style. Let's do this. Scootaloo was a Lyra. Adjective, was a pink filly who lived in the town of Charlie, Kinville. She liked to spend her time with derpy, silly friends, fruit, raindrops. Okay, come on, you can do this. Cherry Bloom, and Sweetie Belle. Together, the three of them were known as the Cutie Mark military rank. Luna Sentries. But what Pony didn't know was that the adjective carrot top adjective was that the weird Pegasus filly wasn't really a pony, but a Corona household object. Okay. Refrigerator. Long ago, a adjective. Trixie, you. A teeny wizard named celebrity. Zecora. Mel Gibson. Used, well, it wouldn't make sense. Used all of his color. Thinky. Chartreuse! I like the word chartreuse! Right, chartreuse! Magic to create Scootaloo. The wizard wanted to use Scootaloo to take over city. Okay, this is my go. Say. Take over the trot! But Scootaloo refused. She didn't want to hurt a single innocent Trixie. Go! Koala! All she wanted to do was to play Lyra foosball. But she knew she had to escape before holiday. Everybody, Christmas! As this was the wizard plan to plan his Lyra weirdly functional plan. Luckily, Scootaloo had allies in the building. Baxter Building. There was a Luna. Muted, adjective mutant, finely dressed mutant that was half animal. That was half. Come on, little dinky, you can do this. This is so hard. Half animal. You can also bring out the praise furniture too. Half animal. Oh, I got half lion and half futon. That was half lion and half futon. Named coolest person in the universe, Trixie. Oh, girls, thanks. Well, yeah, you're her friend. Thanks, girls. Who also wanted to escape the wizard's job freelancer. Booyah. Together, they came up with a plan. Corona, they came up with a destructive plan. While the wizard was spike activity, playing foosball. Scootaloo and her friend used a household object. Raindrops, got one. I got it. Used a toothbrush to break the lock of the door. They went into the room and house middle room where they found sports equipment. Go club! With this, they could escape, making their way through the field of carrot top, daffodil sandwiches. The two of them finally made it to Equestria, was ruled by Charlie Celestial by the Horsehead Nebula, royal title, Charlie, Carrot Justice Celestia. They parted away. The filly decided to live her life in peace and biscuits. Thank you, Lunaverse. No problem. No. Twilight screamed as she saw them all begin grabbing the Mad Libs Zecora was passing out. Twilight trembled and ran off the stage. No! Deadpool and Defender 22 watched as the audience began to fill out their Mad Lib. Feels like there should be a moral here, Deadpool said. Every great story has a mirror. Well, that's why I brought the Wheel of Morality. Zecora pulled the large wheel out from behind the curtain, giving it a spin. Wheel of Morality. Turn. Tell us the lesson we should learn. A computer attached to the wheel spat out a piece of paper. Moral number 12. And the moral of today's story is, lather, rinse, and repeat. Always repeat. How profound. Pet, I'd like to buy a vowel, Defender 22 said. Wrong wheel, father. Oh. The sound of Madeline's being completed filled the air. My God. The white space. It's all-encompassing. I think this fanfic's finally broken me. I see the white void of nothingness that is my live reading career. Oh, gods, I think I've finally been driven mad! Well, this chapter isn't over yet? Deadpool asked, looking at Sluts. I thought we would have had ended it and gone to the reviews by now. Me too. And I'm the one writing it. Defender 22 stayed in surprise. Weird. The three of them awkwardly stood on stage. Want to sing Call Me Maybe until the chapter ends? Discord offered. Yeah, that'll be scary, but fun! Deadpool exclaimed. All three of them leapt up to give each other a high five! Friendship! Oh, gods, no. I hate you so much right now. I threw a wish in the well. Oh, don't tell me, I'll never tell. I looked to you as it fell, and now you're in my way. I traded myself for a wish, pennies and dimes for a kiss. I wasn't looking for this, and now you're in my way. Your stare was holding, ribcage and skin was showing. Hot night, wind was blowing. Where do you think you're going, baby? Hey, I just met you, this is crazy, but here's my number, call me maybe. It's hard to look right at you, baby, but here's my number, so call me maybe. Hey, I just met you, and this is crazy, but here's my number, so call me maybe. And all the other boys tried to chase me, but here's my number, so call me maybe. Chapter 20. Zecora. Normally, I do not mind some guests, but not when they walk while they rest. Twilight glanced up from the mug of hot, warm broth Zecora had planted in front of her nose. The lavender unicorn had awoken to find herself butting her head against Zecora's door, apparently having sleepwalked all the way through the everfree forest. The zebra had explained that Twilight had been mumbling something about theaters and adjectives when she wasn't singing, "Before you came into my life, I missed you so bad." I'm sorry, Zecora. It's been a long day. Perhaps my pony friend should check her sight, as it occurred to me it is night. Twilight took another swig of amber-colored broth. It flowed down her throat and warmed her belly, which, in turn, chased away the cold that lingered on her limbs. Okay, it's been a long few days. Did you know every pony in Equestria is crazy? It is not wise to insult those who you hold dear, Zecora said. But what do you think I live at here? Twilight laughed. I haven't thought about that. How much does it cost to rent one of these spooky cabins? I have some bits saved up. Though you laugh, I know you are sad. What have your friends done that is so bad? That you are upset is easy to see. Why else would you want to move to Everypony? Twilight let out a sigh, rubbing her eyes with her hose. So you know who Scootaloo is, right? She is a friend of dear Fairy Bloom. Why do you treat her like Bringer of Doom? It isn't her fault. But no one really knows much about her. I mean, I've never met her parents or guardians, or heard where she lives. She just kind of showed up out of thin air one day and became Bloom and Sweetie Belle's friend. And that was okay, but when you get to thinking about it, It's really weird that other than hanging around them, you don't hear much about her. Twilight sighed, blowing a lock of hair out of her eyes. I don't know. I just want to know what her deal is. And when you have attempted that, you see why curiosity has killed the cat. Oh, how I wish it was just killing me. I would give my hoof for this quest to kill me, Twilight complained, laying her head on the table. But knowing my luck, the Grim Reaper would trot up and have his own story about Scootaloo. Meanwhile, in the void, the Grim Reaper looked over to collect his souls he has gathered. So, what do you think, man? And give me your honest opinion. No matter how blunt, I can take it. Swallow silly bearded frowned. I don't know. Seems kind of far-fetched that Scootaloo used to be part of a gang of fillies and coats that traveled around Equestria, solving mysteries and with their talking dog. I agree, ha, said Benny Lawrence, a ginger mare whose dark brown mane had long brown braid. I just can't see old stallion Phillips being stopped by some melody fillies and their coats and the puppy.
I'd hate you. I hate all of you.
Reaper screamed, before running out, screaming like a 3-year-old girl. Better turned to her husband, a gigantic dark red earth pony named Brown Snout, and shrugged. At least our daughter store made more sense.
AJ was always a clever one,
Brown stated. Wow, 2 weeks in a row I get to fight Applejack's parents. What are the odds? With this story, the author should say, instead of making jokes with a cutaway. You say something, Zecora? Twilight called out from across the room, ladling out another heaping of broth. Zecora merely smiled as Twilight trotted back over. Now I see why you are blue, trying to learn about Scootaloo. It isn't even the learning part that gets me, Twilight complained. It is the silly stories every pony tells me. Scootaloo is a spy. Scootaloo is a goddess. Scootaloo is a chicken. She shook her head in annoyance. I feel like I'm the last sane pony in Equestria. The answer you seek is easy to see. Don't ask ponies. Instead, ask me. You? Twilight asked. You know about Scootaloo? This fact I cannot deny. Would you give my story a try? 1 moment! Twilight rushed over to Zecora's bed and grabbed the big fluffy pillow that Fluttershy had gotten to Zebra for her birthday. The unicorn dragged it over to the table and, settling it down, slid her head against it a few times, smiling as she realized there was no pain. Okay, I'm all set! Well, now I have my concerns about you. I put them aside to speak of Scootaloo. Every Pegasus enclosed there loved to fly a lot, but the filly who lived below did not. This grounded mare named Scootaloo didn't hate flying. She loved it too. But flap as she might, all she did was fall, for her wings were 2 sizes too small. So Scootaloo watched and growled and groaned, and cursed the tiny little wings she owned. If only they were bigger, she would complain, but as wish she might, they were in vain. For ask any pony, no matter what you try, if your wings are tiny, you'll never fly. As each day passed, she only grew bitter, watching the flyers while sat on her sitter. Try as she might, to no friend she could give help, for when they spoke, all she could do was yelp. It's not fair I'm stuck with these tiny wings, while each of you have your majestic wings. I should be up there, it's easy to see. Things simply aren't as they should be. So she sat on the ground, still as a stump, growling and hissing like a small tiger lump. Stuck to the ground, she was going to glue. The filly got angry and started to stew. What the heck is a tiger lump? Interrupting is not nice. Please, don't make me say it twice. And as she glared at the clouds, she got an idea. A terrible, awful, horrid idea. See how they dance and soar and garbling, while I'm stuck here with hardly a wing. I think I'll sneak up, quick as a cough, and whip all their feathery wings off. Holy Celestial! I asked you once, Twilight. Do not interrupt again. Please, it is not right. Sorry. Just, that story kind of took a dark turn. I mean, Scootaloo ripping wings off Pegasi? It's about as twisted as that rumor I heard about Pinkie Pie makes her cupcakes. Twilight leaned in close. They say she uses artificial sweeteners. With how much you ponies love sugaring this and that, I'm surprised you aren't on more fat. We do ponies, Twilight said dismissively. Now, I don't like it that you have Scootaloo becoming some crazy murderer. I already deal with enough crazy stuff over the last 3 days. So, I'm giving you one more chance. Keep the story sane and rational. Twilight reacted to peel away. Or the table gets it. So it was, 15 minutes before noon, that the fairy prepared her pink balloon. With a snip and a snap, she went into the sky, plotting her revenge on those that could fly. The land rented away as she began to float, in her silver balloon, a wicked boat. She looked to the clouds and felt only hate. Taking revenge on the Pegasi would be so great. But as she neared the sea to enact her plan, the balloon struck a spiky bigoton. She could not scream and let out a call. Her balloon had been popped, and she began to fall. Okay, now you're clearly making up words. Why didn't I bring Mr. Dictionary with me? Scootaloo screamed as she plummeted far. She fell to heavens like a shooting star. She pitched herself, hoping to wake, but she knew she'd become a pancake. Just when she thought she would go splat, upon her head she felt a small pat. Who had caught her? It was plain to see. It was a helpful Pegasus, or 3. Great, making up words, and now Scootaloo can't count. As he sung in the hose, gave a pensive sway. Why, little Scootaloo's heart grew 3 sizes that day. All the anger and hate fled from her heart, and she decided to give her life a new start. If her heart grew 3 sizes, it would burst out of her chest. Maybe it's a medical condition. Maybe that's why she can't count. From that day forth, Scootaloo was a new filly. Now she knew getting mad was quite silly. Having small wings on a mane that is purple, it is no reason to, purple. Did you just rhyme purple with purple? You could say stool, but it's just easy to rhyme, Twilight, so cut me some slack! Twilight stared at Zecora, her jaw hanging slow so Pinky could have used it as a swing. You spoke normal? No, I didn't. Zecora said hastily. You did it again! You out-hitting things. Twilight shook her head in disbelief. All this time you could talk without rhyming? I don't believe this! I knew zebras could talk normally. I'm kind of getting insulted. You keep saying normal, Zecora huffed. When Twilight stared at her, the zebra quickly added, and that is well, it's hard to find a word that rhymes with normal. Formal? This is amazing! I never realized the rhyming thing was a choice. Of course it's a choice. Why do you think I did it? Twilight shrugged. I thought maybe you hit your head as a baby and suffered brain damage? Zecora stared at Twilight in horror. That is just disturbing. Why would you think that? I always assume brain damage is the reason for ponies acting different. You have problems, Twilight, Zecora said. If you must know, I rhyme because it is expected of me. I am the daughter of Lady Sabrika, who is the goddess and ruler of Sabrika. In my land, the royalty sing their commands, and thus I, as the ambassador of Sabrika to these lands, must rhyme as well. Wait, your mother's a goddess? Does that mean you are related to Honey Zecora? Luna called out as she walked through the front door, followed by Cadence and Tidal. You ready to party? Auntie Luna brought margaritas! The moon goddess blinked when she realized Zecora wasn't alone. A huge grin formed on her lips when she realized two was standing before her. Twilight! Give Mama a hug! Twilight stared at the gods before shrugging. You know what? I don't care. If it gets me drunk, I'll be your daughter. I'll be your kid for booze. That's all I ever asked, Luna said happily, hugging Twilight. This is so sweet. Cadence cooed softly, then smiled, horn glowing. I'm going to make you kiss.
Cadence, no. Bad Alcorn!
Tidal shouted, smacking the love goddess with a rolled-up newspaper. Oh, family is strange.